That was an embarrassing game.
It was.
We talked about this last week with the Bears because they gave it away, right? The Packers earlier this year was a one-sided affair. I think this is their most embarrassing game.
This
of
reminded
the
me
DQAP era.
This reminded me of the 2021 game when they came here, lost 56-14, and Deron Payne and John Allen were fighting on the sidelines. But at least
it had similar vibes.
At least those guys were fighting on the sidelines. There wasn't a whole lot of fire out there. We heard these guys being frustrated in the locker room, and we'll get to sound of the podium. DQ was clearly frustrated coming up in a second here. But to me, it's a total catch-22 for Joe Witt. And I'm not absolving Joe of blame in any way, shape, or form, but the front four can't get to the quarterback. The secondary can't cover.
We're indoors and you got a bug on you.
It's just a losing. we're just a losing battle all over the place.
We're just a bunch of losers.
A bunch of losers. Dan Quinn was very, very frustrated at the podium. I think there's some real soul searching that's happening on that airplane right now, and needs to happen.
That's a dark place, man.
Let's hear from Dan Quinn. Let's hear what he had to say at the podium.
He was great.
Injuries are not the reason that we lost. Others may talk about who we did have and didn't have today, and I'm here to say it doesn't matter who you have or who is out when you don't give yourself a real chance at it. From turnover margin to penalties to missed tackles and drops, Dallas beat us, and we beat ourselves as well. And we're the ones that got ourselves into the hole. We're the same ones that got to dig ourselves out. But make no mistake, we're not playing to the standard we've set, and like I said, dug ourselves into it, and so we're the only ones that will dig ourselves out. I'm sure you guys got questions regarding Jaden. He definitely wanted it back in. He'll get an MRI on his hamstring tomorrow, so I'll have a better update for you when I visit with you guys in the afternoon. I just don't want to say one way or another and not give you accurate info on that, so I wanted to make sure I was clear as we begin. But lots to dig into, and we play again in 8 days. We got a lot of things to get better at, and we're going to work our ass off to do that.
Dan, with those big plays keep happening, how frustrating, and first of all, why, I guess, and then, but just how frustrating is it that game after game they keep happening?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. We're going to look at everything, man. We are going to look at everything to, have a play that goes down the field and you throw over your head or a good battle. Like I can live with that one, but the ones of the big explosive plays that I can't put my finger on, that's a lot for us to dig into. If I had one specific reason, I'd say this or this, but yeah, we got, like I said, a lot to get better at, and it's definitely frustrating.
How disappointing, crushing was that series right before halftime, too, where you guys get back in it, you get the ball, and then they go down right down and score?
Yeah, words cannot explain. I was hot.
DQ's right, man. If they knew what to change, they would change it. They don't know, and that's perhaps more troubling. I want to hit some of these questions in the chat. Blake Marshall, it's easy to make changes. It's easy to say make changes. What changes can they make? I think defensively it is, are we going to change our scheme or are we going to change our personnel? And it's fairly simple.
I think when you talk trade deadline and you talk what's out there.
So that's another question.
Right, okay, let's get to who was that.
Nate Bethea. Nate Bethea says, do you think this makes them be active? Frankly, I don't think they should. They traded a lot away this past offseason.
If they're going to be active, and I think a lot of the if depends on what that MRI for Jaden Daniels looks like on Monday, you got to do it this week. Waiting until the trade deadline. Your next 4 games are, what do we have?
KC, Seattle, Detroit, then Miami.
Right. So the next 3 games, conceivably, could be 0-3.
You're
and
now
at that
3
point,
and 4. You get to 3-7.
You're not making any trades. If they're going to do something, it's got to happen now.
Nick Chappell says, to that point, when do we have a serious talk about how poor of a job AP has done putting this roster together?
To me, it goes back to...
Still early, but it's getting late
early. We've said this 100 times on the pod and on shows and on all different content streams. They talk about building for the future, and then they go and trade for the oldest roster in the league, or sign the oldest roster in the league. You got to figure. You're one or the other. We talk about Sean McVay.
Dudes they drafted were old.
We talk about Sean McVay. Attack success. They're doing a little hokey pokey, one leg in, one leg out. Right. You got to either be all in or all out.
Like
one
if
way
you
or the
look
other.
at how the Rams built, they went all in, said bleep the picks,
right,
and won a Super Bowl. And in the years since, have been all draft, and they're drafting really, really well. They get studs all over the place.
The Miami Dolphins are 1-6 right now. They have a stud receiver on a team that's going nowhere in Jaden Waddle. They have a couple of good D linemen.
Yeah, but you're giving up picks.
Do you say F the picks? You say, let's go for it.
I think
That's the question.
Wait
I mean,
at least to hear what's going on with that MRI.
Yeah.
Let's let these defensive players try to explain this performance. It was
embarrassing. It was
not
embarrassing.
good,
That's the
Mitchell.
only word that matters.
Let them talk.
Sure, it is embarrassing, honestly. We are a way better team than what we putting on tape nowadays, so we just got to get back to it.
How do you guys turn this thing around with KC up next?
We got 8 days to just focus on getting our game right and just getting out there and compete.
I mean, it's frustrating, you know what I mean? We don't tend to go out there and, like, you know, the mindset of, like, losing. You know, we're going out there to win, and obviously, you know, we didn't make that happen.
How surprised are you guys just how that all shook out?
Man, I can't really say right now of anything, surprised or not surprised. I'll just leave it up to the film and kind of go from there.
Definitely frustrating because I feel like, you know, we way better than that, you know what I'm saying, to lose like that, but, you know, the score is a score. It is what it is.
On some of those explosives, was there anything you weren't expecting? Or
What explosive?
well, the PI, what'd you think of that call early?
I mean, you know, I really can't speak on the rest. You know, it is what it is, but I don't feel like it was a PI. No, I don't.
Maybe frustrated, you know, losing, but we got to see the bigger picture. No matter what that is, we just got to get better.
How can you clean up some of those mistakes on the back end at this point in the season?
I feel like we just execute, you know, believe in one another, film study, practice, just doing, you know, going the extra mile.